Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening to the judges and panel. So my name is Muhammad Zunuraini bin Zulkifli. I'm from University Malaysia Perlis UNIMAP and Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Technology. So for this conference, I will present about my research. So the title for my research is Fruit Quality Assessment in Agriculture, Firmness and Disease Assessment based on high-level future fusion of acoustic input response and ultrasound response. So without further ado, let's continue with my slide. So during my presentations, I will cover up from introductions. So the chapter for introduction, I will cover overview of the research. What is harum manis mango? The problem statement for this research, the research objective, research contribution, and research scope. So next chapter is methodology. So I will explain about the overview of the research design, the system design and development for acoustic impulse response and ultrasound response, the data collections for acoustic impulse response and ultrasound response, and the firmness evaluation for both of the model. So next chapter will be the result. So I will explain what I get from using both of this model. So the data collection for acoustic input response and ultrasound response, and the result of accuracy for machine learning for both of this model in the research that I conduct. So for the last chapter in this presentation, it will be the discussion and conclusion. So I will conclude whether this research that I conduct is suitable in order to detect and to assess and to do assessment in order to detect any IFR in the harum manis mango. Next is introduction. So judges and panel, for your information, this is harum manis mango. So the one that I highlighted in the red color for the number 4. So that is harum manis mango. It look quite different for other type of mango that was available in Malaysia. Okay, so the scientific name for harum manis mango is Mangafira indica LCV harum manis mango. So the researcher and also all of Malaysians often refer harum manis mango as the king of mango in Malaysia actually. And maybe internationally. So a little bit of information for harum manis mango panel. So this harum manis can only be cultivated in Perlis, the northern state of Malaysia, that is in Perlis. So the second important thing is that the harum manis mango harvesting session usually start on the late of January and we end earlier in the June. So why does harum manis mango is very famous? So this type of mango had a very sweet aromatic and a very soft fiber, and the shape actually is very unique if we compare to other kind of mango that was available in Malaysia lah. So next, the Malay mail stated that in 2021, the total sale for harum manis mango is 29.3 million ringgit, and just from online sale is 22 million ringgit. So this show that the market value for harum manis mango in Malaysia is actually very very high, and it is important to maintain the quality that was provided from all of the harum manis cultivator. So that is why my research is very very important in order to maintain a good quality product delivered to the customer. For your information, panels, the disease harum manis mango often face one kind of disease that is very famous lah in harum manis. So that is insidious fruit rot, or we call it, the researcher here call it IFR. So IFR is usually happen because of imbalance of nutrients during pre-harvest. And major issue of harum manis is that we cannot detect from the external quality of the harum manis mango. So basically means that the morphological characteristic of the harum manis mango, if we look from the outside, we cannot determine whether the fruit will contain any IFR or non-IFR. So that's so IFR often and will cause the decrease of marketability of the fruits. So as the previous slide show that the market value for harum manis mango in Malaysia is actually 29.3 million ringgit. So it is very important in order to keep up or to maintain the quality of the post-harvest product. Next is the problem statement for my research. So the first problem is that the internal quality inspection was done manually by the worker, and there are difficulties in enforcing the quality standard. So second problem statement is that grading mostly done on destructive method to know the internal quality and to assess and to do assessment on the IFR. And the last problem statement is there are none external or visible changes in harum manis mango which could be used for the accurate determination of internal quality of the fruits. Okay, so my research objective is to develop acoustic input response and ultrasound response system device. So the second objective of the research is to analyze both of the model in order to detect the presence of IFR in harum manis mango. And the last objective for this research is to classify the IFR in harum manis mango from the data using machine learning. So in order to predict and determine whether the harum manis mango contain any IFR or non-IFR. So next is the research contribution is that after this, the use of acoustic input response for detecting or for measuring the firmness of harum manis mango will be viable. And the second contribution is the use of ultrasound also to detect the firmness of harum manis mango. And last is the machine learning method for classifying the IFR present using firmness data of the harum manis mango. So for my research, there are some scope that I keep constant. So the first is to use only harum manis mango from Pharma and YA harum manis that will be collected on the 8th week. Why 8th week? Because that is the first week, in the first week of the post harvest. So that is the index that was set by Pharma. So second is to use acoustic input response to detect the presence of IFR. And the third scope is to use ultrasound response to detect the presence of IFR. And last is to use machine learning to determine and classify the presence of IFR. So that is, I will choose SVM actually. So next is methodology. So panels and judges, that the picture in the middle is the complete device of my research. So that is the device that I use in order for the data collections. So this is the inside of the device. So next, panel and judges. So for the microcontroller, I choose is Raspberry Pi 4. That is because Raspberry Pi 4 offer me a good performance for computing the data. Next is this is the acoustic input response device. So there are for this model, the data is collected from USB microphone, and the knocking mechanism on the sound producing mechanism is done using linear mini solenoid actuator. And last is solid state relay is in order to not to let the solenoid to jam. So this is for ultrasound response. So the sound will be produced by the transducer, while the frequency sound, the sound frequency that was produced by the transducer will be recorded from the piezoelectric sensor. So next is, this is the power supply for this machine, for this device. Next is, this is the circuit, the electrical circuit for my research. Okay, so next, so panel and judges, system design and data collection for acoustic input response and ultrasound response. So how do we use this device is that we will place the specimen, the harmonious mango, on top of the device, just as shown in the picture. So the data obtained from the microphone for the acoustic input response and the receiver of ultrasound response will be the data source. Then the data collected will then simulated to get an accurate level that will be the separator between the IFR and or non-IFR for harmonious mango. Okay, so next is the firmness evaluation for acoustic input response and the ultrasound response. So this is the formula that I use to you guys. Next is the machine learning. So next is the machine learning that was chosen in order to computing the collected data in order to create or to predict whether the harmonious mango is will contain any IFR or non-IFR. So the choice of machine learning that was chosen is support vector machine, so SVM. So the SVM basically will create a hyperlink that will be the separator for different classes. So next is the result. So in this chapter, I will explain about the acoustic input response and ultrasound response data. So just as I say in the methodology, so the harmonious mango will be placed on top of the span, and then both of the mechanism will activate after the start button is pushed. So the sensor, both of the model sensor will then measure the sound and the frequency, and then the collected data will undergo machine learning in order to predict the result. So judges and panel, so this is the result for acoustic input response. You can see there are high and low, so there are different reading of harmonious mango. So that will be the indicator. So that will be the data sample and data collected for the SVM in order to create the best hyperlink. Next, this is how the data look for acoustic input response after processed. So this is processed data in order to show the difference between harmonious that contain IFR and harmonious that doesn't contain IFR or non-IFR. So there are a different frequency recorded, different decibel recorded here, as in the highlighted square. So this is the SVM. So the accuracy for this only this model is 92.5%. So that is very, very accurate for predictions. So next we go to the ultrasound response. So this is the difference of the data collected for a healthy and non-healthy, or we call it IFR or non-IFR. So as we can see, left and right, there are some difference in the frequency. So that is the indication whether the fruit will contain any IFR or non-IFR. So for this model, for this ultrasound response, the accuracy obtained is 87%. So last, how do we combine both of the result is that for this research, I use majority voting. So here, acoustic impulse response, the accuracy is 92.5%, while the ultrasound response give out 87% of accuracy. So after modeling, the accuracy obtained from the majority voting is 89%. So the accuracy for this research is 89%. Okay, parents, for the last chapter, there is discussion and conclusion. So based on these presentations, all of the objective for this research is obtained. So acoustic impulse response and ultrasound response model were found to be suitable for detecting IFR within the harum manis mango. And the combination method for both models were able to provide a more accurate reading, and the method does not cause any damage to the harum manis mango. The majority voting approach in the machine learning, processing the data, the prediction and the accuracy of the prediction of the research is 89%. And last, this demonstrates that integrating multiple sensor and modalities with majority voting significantly enhance the reliability and the effectiveness of IFR detection in harum manis mango. So that will conclude my presentations. If there are any questions, you can ask me. Thank you.